Red Bull wasn't supposed to look this comfortable this early, and yet Max Verstappen is already calling the new engine performance very positive, even amazing to see. That's not normal pre-season optimism, that's a warning. Because Formula One is heading into the most radical rule change in decades, and if Red Bull is smiling now, the rest of the grid has a serious problem. Here's the real question nobody wants to ask yet. Are we watching the start of another era before 2026 has even begun? Most fans are focused on driver moves, politics, and headlines. But the real power shift in Formula One never starts with drivers, it starts with engines. And Verstappen's reaction tells us something deeper is already happening behind closed doors. Let that sink in. The sport is about to reset technically, financially, and politically all at once. New hybrid regulations, new power unit balance, new manufacturer dynamics. And in theory, that should compress the grid. It should give Ferrari, Mercedes, maybe even new entrants a real chance to close the gap. But Verstappen isn't speaking like a driver entering uncertainty. He's speaking like someone who has seen the numbers, the mileage, the reliability curves, the early simulations. And when a driver known for blunt honesty sounds quietly impressed, you pay attention. Because Max doesn't praise machinery lightly. He dominates with it, or complains about it. There is rarely an in-between. Here's the overlooked detail most fans missed. Early power unit confidence in a regulation reset is historically predictive. When Mercedes felt calm before 2014, domination followed. When rivals sounded unsure, the gap exploded. Different era, same pattern. And now Red Bull's internal signals feel familiar. That's insane. If the new engine is already stable, already reliable, already delivering expected performance targets, then the usual chaos of a regulation change might not happen at all. Instead of a reset, we could get continuity disguised as revolution. And that changes everything about 2026. Not just championships, power inside the paddock, manufacturer leverage, driver market politics, even budget allocation today. Because teams don't wait for rules to arrive, they react to whispers of performance years in advance. So when Verstappen publicly sounds relaxed, rival engineers hear something else entirely. Danger. Strongest reveal? Here it is. Reliability this early in a brand new power unit cycle is rarer than outright speed. Anyone can produce peak numbers in controlled testing. Sustained running is the real indicator. And sustained running is exactly what triggered Verstappen's reaction. That's the kind of quiet signal that wins titles before the first race even starts. Smart fans subscribe. But let's slow this down, because the surface story is too simple. Red Bull building a competitive engine isn't shocking on its own. What matters is context. This is the first true in-house Red Bull power unit era. No safety net, no established manufacturer carrying the burden. Just a new structure, new people, new pressure, and the most complex hybrid rules Formula One has ever written. Logically, this should be the moment Red Bull looks vulnerable. Transitional, exposed. Instead, Verstappen sounds calm, confident, almost relaxed. And that contradiction is where the real story lives. Because confidence inside Formula One is never accidental. It's engineered, carefully, politically, strategically. Teams reveal emotion only when it serves a purpose. So why allow such positive signals to escape now? Is this genuine belief or psychological warfare before a regulation reset? Be honest, who's actually panicking right now? Look at the wider grid. Mercedes is rebuilding identity after dominance faded. Ferrari is chasing consistency more than raw pace. New manufacturers are balancing ambition with risk. Everyone is presenting optimism publicly. But optimism without proof sounds different. Softer, defensive. Verstappen's tone isn't defensive, it's observational. That difference matters more than lap time. Here's what nobody is talking about. Regulation resets reward preparation timelines, not just innovation. The team that stabilizes concepts earliest often controls development direction for years. And Red Bull starting calm suggests something powerful. They may already understand the new rules better than expected. Not perfectly, not completely, but enough to remove fear, enough to shift pressure onto everyone else. And pressure in Formula One is never equal. It compounds. Engineers rush, concepts split, political blame spreads. Suddenly, a regulation reset meant to create competition creates chaos instead. We've seen it before. The question is whether we're seeing it again. Halfway through this story, another uncomfortable thought appears. What if the biggest Red Bull advantage in 2026 isn't speed at all? What if it's stability? Stability in leadership. Stability in driver lineup. Stability in technical philosophy. When everything changes, stability becomes a weapon. And right now, Red Bull looks disturbingly stable. Elite timing. Subscribe. Now I want you to decide something. Was Verstappen's reaction simple honesty or a calculated message to rivals? If you were running Mercedes or Ferrari today, would you believe him or ignore it and risk being wrong? Drop your call below, because this moment might look small now, but history shows these are the signals that define entire eras. And here's where tension really starts to rise. Because confidence before a regulation reset creates expectation. And expectation creates pressure inside Red Bull too. If the engine truly is strong, dominance becomes the assumption. And in Formula One, assumptions are dangerous. One reliability flaw, one integration issue, one political shift in fuel or energy deployment rules, suddenly calm disappears. That's the knife edge Red Bull is walking right now. But something even bigger is forming beneath the surface. Something tied to power unit politics, manufacturer influence, and the hidden battle over Formula One's future direction. Verstappen's comments might not just be about performance, they might be about positioning, signaling strength before negotiations intensify. Because the 2026 era isn't only about racing, it's about control. And once you see that layer, the entire story changes. Because control in Formula One rarely belongs to the fastest car alone. It belongs to whoever shapes the future rules, the commercial leverage, and the technological direction of the sport. And the 2026 power unit reset is exactly where those battles collide. New energy deployment ratios, greater electrical dependence, sustainable fuel integration, manufacturer branding stakes. This isn't just engineering, it's politics at 300 kilometers per hour. And when Verstappen praises early performance, he isn't only talking to fans, he's talking to the entire ecosystem watching Red Bull's rise. Read that again. Confidence now influences negotiations later. Sponsors commit differently. Drivers evaluate contracts differently. Even rival engineers choose career moves differently. Momentum in Formula One spreads long before cars reach the grid. So a single calm statement can echo far beyond a test bench. But here's the uncomfortable twist. Early optimism has destroyed teams before. Overconfidence slows development urgency. Hidden flaws stay hidden too long. Rivals catch up silently. By the time reality appears, it's too late. So the real question isn't whether Red Bull feels strong. It's whether that strength survives contact with competition. Is this dominance, or the calm before resistance? Look at the timeline pressure. Development windows are shrinking. Budget caps restrict reaction speed. Every design decision today locks consequences into 2026. That means mistakes are more permanent than ever. And permanence is terrifying in a sport built on iteration. One wrong architecture choice could freeze a team into mediocrity for years. Now flip the perspective. If you're a rival team hearing Verstappen's confidence, what do? Panic and redesign? Stay calm and trust your numbers? Push political influence inside regulation interpretation? Every option carries risk, and risk multiplied across the grid creates instability. That instability is where championships are really won. Here's what truly sits at stake. Not just another title, not just another season, a full competitive era. The team that masters 2026 could define the second half of the decade. Commercial power, driver legacy, historical narrative, all shaped by decisions happening quietly right now. That's why Verstappen's words matter. They're a glimpse into which direction the future might already be leaning. Let that sink in. Because if Red Bull truly enters 2026 prepared, the psychological effect alone could reshape competition. Rivals might chase ghosts instead of performance. Development paths could diverge unnecessarily. And before the first race even starts, momentum could already belong to one garage. Formula One history is full of seasons decided before lights out. This might be another. But nothing in this sport stays simple. Regulation bodies adjust, rivals innovate, unexpected weaknesses appear. The very complexity that gives Red Bull hope could also introduce chaos. And chaos is Formula One's favorite plot twist. So the final truth is uncomfortable for everyone, including Red Bull. No one actually knows who wins 2026 yet. Not really. And that uncertainty is the real story behind Verstappen's warning. Not certainty, not dominance, possibility. The possibility that another era is forming quietly while the world debates headlines instead of horsepower. Stay sharp. Subscribe. Because the next phase of this battle won't happen in interviews. It will unfold through testing data, political tension, and the first real performance comparisons when new era cars finally hit the track. And when that moment arrives, everything we think we know today could flip instantly. So here's the question I want to leave you with. If Red Bull truly is ready, who stops them? And if they're not, who shocks the world instead? That answer is coming sooner than most people realize. And in the next video, we're breaking down the hidden rival most likely to challenge Red Bull's future dominance. The team quietly building strength while nobody is watching. Watch that next.